I remembered to paint after straightening out this part. Hopefully it really did need to be straightened, and then I just didn't do something that I wasn't supposed to do. So onward and forward. At some point I painted part of the radiator, and I painted the fan shroud. Obviously I did not paint the radiator support plate here on the front. It appears that it can be taken off without removing the radiator or condenser. Hopefully they'll just sit in place. We'll see. So anyway, that's what we're trying to accomplish. See if we can get this cleaned up so it can also be primed and painted while the rest of the front end is apart. So this flexible shield here is attached to a sheet metal part, which attaches here, and it also attached here. And I guess there was one here before. There's the hole, and it probably somehow went around behind the same screw. So hopefully I'll turn that up. Anyway, the condenser is loose, so we'll get this off, and that hopefully we'll get this vertical piece off, which is held on up there, and it's held on with a bolt or nut here. I should get the penetrating fluid out next. So it's these two screws that go down into and capture the top of the support, and now I should be able to, well, sadly that nut at the bottom, it's got a bolt head on the other side, and that is buried behind the radiator, so this effort may stop soon. We'll see. So this bolt with a washer on one side came up through the bottom of the tip of the frame here and through that bushing, and I'm sure there's a bushing underneath, yeah, right there, and then another washer, and then it was cranked down. And 53-year-old car, this bolt I don't think has been out before. Just came off very, very easily. So blessed. Same thing on the other side. Sorry about the dark. We're just recording things as we get to them. So the radiator support is now off. The radiator is supported by a couple of jack stands and held in by the radiator hoses. The latch mechanism is there, and it's held on by those two screws there. I've got the stack up of bushings and washers that held the radiator support there, and they'll go in a bag along with, well, these items will get in the bag with the rest of the hardware that came from removing the radiator and the bracketry around it. So onward. Hopefully we'll get this scrubbed clean tonight and it can dry and be ready for a primer. So one thing I need to note is that this spring that is supposed to go from the end of this latch release over to this post is broken, so we'll need to get a replacement for that. Meantime, I'm going to stick it in the bag with the rest of the support pieces. So 2.5 cans of rusty metal primer later. Got some sort of guard. We've got the latch for the hood. We've got the radiator core support. We've got this front piece that goes across. Goes up and down in front. And we've got 2 wheel wells primed with a few runs. We'll make it look factory. Primed on both sides. The inside I had hand painted or hand primed. all these pieces have been spray primed both sides. And then the inside that faces the engine compartment is what I primed with a spray can this time. Alright, directions on the rusty metal primer is if you get it when it's less than an hour and it has tacked up, then you can top coat it. So this would be 2 coats of semi-gloss black Rust-Oleum on top of the rusty metal primer. So the only major portion of the engine compartment that would need to be dealt with is the firewall. We'll see if we get to that. Well, I didn't yet break out the 2-part catalyzed epoxy primer. I did rattle can the primered surfaces on these parts in satin black. These are parts that are all kind of hidden underneath. It's really just a matter of getting some black paint on them, to a couple coats to protect them from corroding. So, progress.